Welcome to Wealth Preservation Solutions. I'm Elizabeth DeLeo, Director of Family Offices. I'm joined today with Kevin Ellman, CFP CEO, and we're going to be talking about his monthly outlook. And we'll take a step back first to kind of give you a behind the scenes look into where he actually forms his outlook based off of. And then we'll get to the outlook. Who's excited? Are you excited, Kevin?
I'm excited.
How are you?
I'm pretty good, actually.
Good. That's what we like to hear. I know that you're on the verge of your second vaccine, right? So life is about to reinvent itself for
Yeah, I
you.
can't wait to get back out there and be a person again.
I know, I know. So hopefully we can do that sooner than later. And then all of these fun videos that we're recording will actually be able to have conversations in person, hopefully sooner
That
than
would be
later.
great. That would be
We
great.
shall see. We shall see. So it's very often, more often than not, on conversations or in meetings, Zoom meetings these days with clients, that the leading question that our clients have is, "So, Kevin, what do you think?" And you'll share that, right? And it's always very precise. It's always very well thought out. But what we don't often share is why you feel the way you feel or what you base your feelings off of. So
Sure.
today we're going to walk through the steps that you follow when forming your outlook.
Yep. Well, before I go that far, I'd like to point out that this is a phrase attributed both to J.P. Morgan and Yogi Berra, that prediction is very difficult, especially when it's about the future.
Whoa, big one.
Yes, I have an outlook, but predicting the future is a challenge.
Of
But
course.
you can't invest money unless you have some kind of outlook.
Right.
You have to be able to make a decision based on something. So
Right.
we have a step-by-step process that we follow to try to develop at least what I consider, a halfway reasonable, halfway intelligent point of view about the markets.
Okay. So what's step one?
So we look at six different areas. We look at what's the Federal Reserve doing,
Hmm.
what's happening with inflation, is there growth in the economy, what's the regulatory environment for business, and what is the tax environment for business, and
Hmm.
also what's happening generally with employment. And
Okay.
we look at each one of those areas and we give them a 1 to 5, 1 being not so favorable, 5 being pretty favorable. And then we look at that, and from there we can have pretty well informed outlook about what's going to happen, at least in the fairly near term.
Okay. So why don't we start with the first category
Sure.
and take it from there?
Yep. So you've heard the expression, don't fight the Fed.
Sure have.
So the Federal Reserve right now has made a decision to keep interest rates lower for longer.
Hmm.
So that means they're going to make it very, very easy to borrow money, as easy as they can. And that's really going to support businesses. They can borrow money, they can invest. It supports consumers, it keeps borrowing costs down, they can get mortgages, they can use credit. So that generally supports the growth in the marketplace. So based on that, I would say the Federal Reserve action, I'd give it like a 4. Okay.
Okay.
Then next we take a look at what's happening with inflation. So there's a lot of talk about inflation right now in the newspapers. There's a lot of fear that inflation is going up. And there's no question that inflation is going up a little bit. And the question is, a little bit inflation is good. It allows businesses to raise prices. It allows, people to get raises. But if inflation starts to really kick up too fast and too high, well, that tends to kind of crimp business growth.
Hmm.
So right now, I think it's more like reflation. Like prices are kind of getting back to normal, and to me, it seems like there's a modest amount of inflation, and I'm not as worried about as some people are that it's going to be too much. So I would say right now we give inflation like a 3, kind of middle of the road.
Okay.
And the big one really is growth. What's the outlook for growth? So right now, I think it's pretty positive. So the world is getting vaccinated. There's a huge infrastructure program that's probably going to happen. There's going to be a large stimulus package that's going to be part of that. So there's a lot of wind behind the economy pushing it forward. So I think we're going to see growth. And growth again, I'd give it about a 4. Okay, so
Okay.
that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Now, regulation, this might be a little bit on the negative side. We don't know for sure, but it does look like that this administration will probably be a little bit less favorable to business regulation wise. So probably that's going to be, a little bit negative. I would give it a 3. Now we take a look at employment. Employment is starting to look pretty good. People are going back to work. They haven't gone back to work yet, but it looks like people are going to go back to work. And again, that consumers will have more money to spend, so they'll, I think, again, support the economy. So I'm going to give that a 3. It's not
Mhm.
strong yet, but it's getting there. And
Mhm.
then finally, what's happening with taxes? So again, we don't know exactly what's going to happen, but it looks like this administration is going to try to raise taxes on businesses and maybe high income individuals, maybe capital gains. We don't know what'll get passed, but something will happen. So I
Mhm.
think that's a little bit of a drag on the economy. So I'm going to give that a 3. Maybe you could give it a 2. So if we add all that up, out of a potential of 30 points, which would be everything 5 favorable,
Mhm.
give it a 20.
Okay.
So, it's averaging like 3.3. So it's certainly better than middle. It's not super growth, but it's definitely a positive trend.
Mhm.
So on that basis, we are going to continue to invest for growth, which means we're going to emphasize stocks. And we have not decided to pull back yet. We don't see any sign of, any danger around the corner yet. So we're definitely view this year as being a positive year for the economy and a positive year for the stock market.
Excellent. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. I think it's really important to learn the why and the how behind the what.
Sure.
So, from time to time, you and I are going to hop on here and we're going to go through your outlook and really break down the behind the scenes through using these components each and every month. So, certainly, if anyone has any questions, you can feel free to reach out to us. You can always visit our website, wealthpreservationsolutions.com. And if you have any questions or for a complimentary copy of our new book,
Wait
you
for it.
have a copy of it?
Right here.
Yeah. And I kind of just jumped on the bandwagon there. I said our new book, but
Well, good job for it.
by representation, right? But Kevin and Ball recently have written a new book. Can you hold it up again, Kevin? And the title, as you can see, is Can Your Family Wealth Management Plan Pass the 360-Degree Stress Test? So we've sent out some information about this. You can view it again on our website. For a copy of our book, please text WEALTH to 88799. And again, any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. We look forward to speaking with you and hopefully seeing you all in person soon. Until then, stay happy, stay healthy, and stay wealthy. Bye.
Bye.